Hey Walking Dead fans, this is going to be a video on ranking each premiere episode of all the seasons of The Walking Dead 1 through 9. And this was a request a while back, I'm just now getting to it. I did watch each premiere episode of each season and I ranked them, and you know, if I watch these again next year or if I'd watched them several months ago, who knows, I might have ranked them a little bit different, but as of right now, I think this is a pretty good ranking. That's just my opinion. And after you guys watch this video and kind of get updated again on all of the premiere episodes, I'm going to kind of go over just a little bit each one, just a few little snippets about what it was about and what stood out to me or didn't. And then you guys can make up your own list in the discussion below. Let me know what you think or how you rank all of the premiere episodes of The Walking Dead. So counting down to my favorite episode, in the number 9 spot is Season 4, Episode 1. And as far as the ending of Season 3, they had just had a fight with the governor. The governor kind of lost his town, and he ended up shooting all those people just out on the road and got away. And now Rick is kind of becoming Farmer Rick. But one thing that is happening, Rick notices the eyes bleeding from one of the walkers over at the fence. So some guy died from the flu that's about to happen, right? And became a walker, and there he is, and Rick notices that. And a little later on in the episode, Rick notices it again, and right after that, he sees that one of the hogs have died. So some people have thrown out swine flu and stuff like that. I think Robert Kirkman in an interview explained it more like it was some mutated form of the Spanish flu, is what he thought it as.
We're going to learn how to hold a knife, how to stab and slash, and where to aim for. Please, don't tell your father.
But regardless, in this episode, not a whole lot happened, and that's why I probably place it in the 9 spot, the last spot. Just because not a whole lot happened, Rick was turning from, you know, shoot him up and kill him into Farmer Rick, into more easygoing Rick. As far as the biggest scene, I think it was the helicopter falling through the roof and, of course, the flu. So next up in the 8th spot is Season 9, Episode 1. Now, Season 9 was actually one of my most favorite seasons so far because it was kind of, you know, Angela Kang did breathe a little new life into the whole production and everything. I think Rick was leaving in Season 9 as well, and we knew that going into the season, and we didn't know, is this show going to die? Because Rick is leaving. It was just a big event. The only thing is there's not a lot that happened, I guess, action-wise or story-wise, propelling story-wise, maybe. I don't know, in this episode. Of course, it did have some exciting parts in it. They went to D.C., the kid died, and we had the hanging of Gregory. It was definitely a good setup episode for the rest of the season. It just didn't have a lot of the stuff these other episodes, I think anyway, had.
I'm gonna kill you. What?
In the number 7 spot is Season 7, Episode 1. And, you know, on some people's list, this episode, this premiere, would be number 1 in their list. In some list, it would be number 9. It would be like last. Some people hate it like tremendously. I think, you know, pretty much stopped watching the show hating it so much. And then some people really liked it because it was an introduction to a new villain. And some of the stuff kind of happened just like it did in the comic. So the storyline was going along okay. But we lost 2 major characters in Season 7, Episode 1. It was that famous Abraham and Glenn moment with Negan and Lucille. And pretty much that whole episode was bouncing around that storyline and that stuff and Negan stuff. He threw Rick in the camper and took him out. But overall, the main reason I think I put it back at number 7 is it wasn't my favorite episode overall. Some important things happened in it, and, you know, I feel sorry for Abraham and Glenn, you know, and it wasn't a pleasurable episode to watch. I like it when it's exciting and, you know, there's just chills and excitement. That episode was a downer. And not because it was such a bad episode, just because we had 2 major deaths, and it was just a sad thing. In the number 6 spot is Season 8, Episode 1. So as far as this episode, I could almost put this in the number 9 spot because it has so many, for lack of better words, kind of stupid stuff that goes on in the episode, and it's pretty lame in a lot of ways. And the whole all-out war was actually about to happen. I mean, what did it go? Like at least 2 seasons, and we're finally getting all-out war.
Go, Rich, go, get moving, go! No, Rick, we're not ready! Sasha, Abraham, damn straight, we'll do it live! You meet there.
In the 5 spot is Season 6, Episode 1. Season 6 started out, they were trying to plan on that horde of walkers getting out of the quarry, and they were going to route them a certain way, and they had all that planned out. And they were actually still kind of going through the motions when a truck shifted or something, and the whole, everybody, all the walkers started coming out of the quarry, so they had to jump into motion. And then it was a bunch of flashbacks and forth of them preparing for it and then them doing it. And this was the episode that it was kind of part black and white, part color. And I'm thinking I put it in this spot at least because there was a lot of action in it. They were diverting the horde of walkers, and at the end the horn blew and they didn't know what that was, and they shifted and headed toward Alexandria, and I thought that was cool. Like, oh, what's going to happen? What was that horn blast? And the ending was pretty good. It was like a little cliffhanger and one of the better ones. So I think overall some of the stuff the characters did, some of the interaction with the locals, the Alexandrians, that they were like never been outside the walls, and everybody was kind of let them do it, and then they couldn't do it, so they had to move in and kill the walkers for them, and different things like that. Just the roadblocks and the stuff they done to try to move the herd. So a lot of that stuff, I like the episode, and I at least put it here in the 5 spot. But now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and the 4 spot, as far as my opinion goes, is Season 3, Episode 1. So as far as these first few seasons, I like the first few seasons because it's gritty. They're still learning the world of the apocalypse. It's still early on, those times that we like, that's still real gritty and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that happens here, they've just escaped the farm, right? And they're on the run, and that's when Carl tries to eat some dog food, and they're just starving, running from place to place, just trying to make it in the world. And then they find the prison. And this is the episode that they take the prison, and it ends up, not only is the whole taking of the prison a lot of action and really cool, it ends up where Herschel gets bit and they have to chop off his leg, and then they turn around and they see those prisoners that have been stuck in there the whole time. So just all of that, it was really cool, and a lot of action and story in there with the characters as they were cleaning out, the prison and stuff like that. Just the interaction. T-Dog was still, in doing stuff. And, when you watch some of those early episodes and you see some of those old characters, you're like, oh, yeah, man. So it's fun to rewatch and to rank these for sure. It's been kind of fun. And we're narrowing it down. In the number 3 spot is going to be Season 2, Episode 1. So like I said before on the last one, this was the early days, Season 2, Episode 1, and the group were, it was pretty much a lot like the Season 3. They left the CDC right at the end of Season 1, and they're still kind of out on the road. It's early days in the apocalypse. We're still with a lot of the original group. And, of course, Dell's RV gets stuck on the highway. That's when we lose Sophia. And, of course, Dell's RV gets stuck on the highway. That's when we lose Sophia. And the episode, for me, it's really a really good character building episode. There's so much happens, and interaction happens between the people that are left or go off in their little group, either hunting Sophia or out in the woods, or they find this church. Rick goes in and he's kind of praying a little bit, if you want to call it that, and just the interactions between Shane. And you've got Dell and T-Dog at the RV. T-Dog had cut his arm, and he stayed back with Dell, and he's kind of hallucinating because they can't find any medicine. So definitely, Season 2, Episode 1 was a good one.
Move!
Okay, we're down to the number 2 spot, and I would have to say the number 2 and the number 1, I could interchange those a little bit, but, you know, I kind of decided on what I decided on. But, man, was Season 5, Episode 1 not one of the best damn episodes ever? I mean, I remember, you know, right at Season 5 was almost the peak, the pinnacle of The Walking Dead popularity, and it started kind of declining going into Season 6, I think. If you remember Season 5, if you were watching it live, as, you know, we had to wait a week for every episode. When that premiere came on, I had, you know, actually some friends watching it back then a little bit, and we would watch it together, get together and watch some of those episodes. And I think I was together with some friends watching Season 5, Episode 1, and the excitement, and especially with me, the energy of the whole thing happening with Terminus. You know, that's what the episode was about. Terminus happened. The guys have already all been caught. They're in the train car at the end of Season 4. So we come in to them lined up, you know, pretty much at that stainless steel trough and about to die. And Carol comes to the rescue. So not only is it the famous lineup at the trough scene, which is epic, the even more epic is Carol saving them. Just the whole episode, just full of energy, and they reunited with Carol, and the look on Daryl's face and Rick when they see it's Carol, and just the love there, and especially Rick and Carl gets reunited with Judith, who they think a walker got, and you know, they think she was eaten back at the prison when they were breaking out of the prison, but of course Tyrese saved the baby. And the kids, Lizzie and Mika, I think, helped with that. The traveling and the railroad track stuff in Season 4 leading up to Season 5, I think, just really gave a good story going into it. And Season 5, Episode 1 was just a really great episode. So now we're down to the number 1 spot, and it's Season 1, Episode 1. And it's hard to say that... I don't know. I explain it like it's just a really great standalone thing, and you could almost make it a standalone thing, and in itself would be really great, just off to itself, a little zombie short film or something, right? I'm sure you've heard all that before, and it's true though. It's really a great little piece. It was so like the comic. To me, you know, they shot it, I think, on 16 millimeter, and the look of it was really badass. I mean, it looked like a movie. You know, it had that look, not a TV look, really. It looked like they were replaying, you know, an old movie on TV or something, kind of. But it was new, you know, and it was a comic, a remake of a comic, and it was just so epic when it came out. And I just think Season 1, Episode 1, the way they shot it, the acting, and just overall, it's really great. It's hard to say. But Season 5 was explosive, man. Explosive. But Season 1, Episode 1, I would have to say that's in the number 1 spot. But let me know if you agree with any of that, or make up your own list. Let me know what you think, or at least what's your favorite overall. Maybe you just want to let me know that. And that's cool. Everybody's got their own opinion, and that's okay. So let me know which one you love the most, or go ahead and give me a list, 1 through 9. But that's it for this video. As always, guys, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more dead stuff.